Hello there. Well, it's Good Friday, Easter weekend 2019, and welcome to Avebury. So here I am, standing next to the bank on the outer of the stone circle at Avebury, and right over there in the distance, between them trees, you can just make out Silbury Hill. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. Hello there, it's Good Friday 2019 and welcome to Avebury. Inside the outer ring of stones at Avebury, and this one in front of me is called the Barber Stone. So called because it was laying flat. When they stood it upright, they found a skeleton of a man. He had a set of tools with him, which are stored in the museum, which is over there somewhere. And the tools consisted of comb, scissors, and everything a barber surgeon needed. Yeah, the barber surgeon stone. Just over the road there, the two big stones was the main entrance until they rerouted the road, because in them days they couldn't get horses with wagons through there easily, so they rerouted the road, because it originally used to go through there in the 1800s. And over there we have the Devil's Chair, so I'll take you around there shortly. And over there is the Red Lion. Inside the Red Lion there's a well, and when the pub's open I'll take you in and show you there. They reckon there's still at least one unfortunate villager buried in there. That distance over there is Silbury Hill, and further beyond Silbury Hill is the West Kennet Long Barrow burial chamber, and over in that distance is the sanctuary, and running from the sanctuary down to Avebury itself is what they call the avenue. I'll show you more than that in a little while. So from here, just coming up the Barber Stone, so you can see the scale of it. I'll stand next to it, and yeah, like I was saying, from here, standing next to the Barber Stone, you get some idea of the scale of the bank and the ditch that originally was just pure white, carved out of chalk by bones, antlers and hip bones. Obviously all them years ago it was a lot deeper than that, and maybe even higher. So erosion over the years has taken its toll. Like I say, this is absolutely massive. It's the biggest stone circle, I believe, in the whole of Europe. It's the biggest stone circle in the UK anyway, but I believe it's the biggest one in the whole of Europe. Take one a little bit further, give you a bit of history about Avebury as we walk around. Check back with me shortly. They're just crossing the road now, away from the Barber Surgeon Stone, and straight over in front of me, this one here, the round looking one, is the stone that's called the Devil's Chair. the red line. And this one here is known as the Devil's Chair. A little bit of a seat there. So this is actually one of the inner circles. Obviously the little stone plinths, or whatever they're called, or where there used to be stones that have been destroyed, lost in time, or built into the houses around here. As you can most probably see, a lot of the brickwork around here resembles sarsen stones. So I'll take you up. This is where, in summer solstice, all the main drumming goes on around this area. I've drummed many a times against this stone here, and then up there. It's where they have a procession and a entertainment. We have a group called King's Drummers come down every year, and they rope this big area off in here. They do a big fire ritual and performance before they move on to Stonehenge. Quite often when people get married around here, they use this little square stone here or the little circle there. But quite often I've seen people jumping the broomstick here, or hand fasting, which is a wedding ceremony. As you can see, the ditch in the back goes all the way around there. There's a big tree over there, we'll go over there shortly, with all wishes and ribbons and prayers and everything on it. As you can see, the whole of the village, most of the village, is built inside the stone circle itself, so we'll continue on. So at sunrise, summer solstice time, this bank up here, you get loads and loads of people, thousands on some years, and the sun comes up over there, just above that tree line. You get a pretty dramatic view from down here, but obviously the people up the top get to see the sunrise first. We'll head on up that way now, up to the top of the bank. Once again you see the size of the bank and the ditch. Past it here. They've roped off this piece of grass, obviously because of wear and tear, because it's the main walking route that people take. There's getting a lot of people sitting underneath the trees here in the shade. If you imagine to yourself what it must have looked like when all this was just pure white chalk glistening in the sun. As you can see from up here, you can see that the circle goes on right over the back there. So here we are on the top of the bank. Like I said, the sun comes up over in that direction. And that's the avenue that runs up to the sanctuary. You get some idea of the scale from up here. I remember one solstice sitting about here with me meth burner out, people coming past saying, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm cooking me breakfast." It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, let's continue onwards. So sitting on top of the bank, there you can see the entrance. Over there was the Devil's Chair. Right over there is the Swindon Stone, which I'll take you over to shortly, and over there was the Barber Surgeon Stone. So a little bit about Avebury itself. It was constructed over several hundred years in the 3rd millennium BC during the Neolithic or the New Stone Age. The monument comprises a large henge, a bank and a ditch, a large outer stone circle, 2 separate smaller stone circles situated inside the centre. So it's been here for quite a few years. Like I said earlier on, this the remains of one of the smaller circles within the main circle itself. In a moment we'll take you over to the tree, the root system, which is just round the corner there. It's an amazing set of trees, amazing root system. Hopefully it's not roped off. Normally it's covered in wishes and prayer ribbons and things like that. Like I say, the main, one of the larger stones is the Swindon Stone, which is over there beyond the Red Lion pub and the church. So you've got a little chapel church there. There's another church right over there. So let's continue onwards. So just up the road from Avebury, like I say, through the avenue which leads to the sanctuary, which all that remains up there now are wooden posts. That was a small circle, and that's the actual start of the Ridgeway National Trail, which runs over the back there. And I'm not sure if you can see, there's a little pathway there. If you walk up there, it takes you onto the Ridgeway itself, which is 87 miles long, National Trail. So just coming up to the trees now, the root system I was telling you about. There isn't that many leaves because it's still early in the year. Normally this trees here, or these trees I should say, are covered in ribbons. It doesn't look like there's that many here at the moment.
It's like at Seven Oaks, they had 7 oaks.
There's quite a few ribbons attached to the roots, as you can see. very sacred, special place. So you join me now on the other side of Avebury Stone Circle. Here's the Tree of Wishes, or Trees of Wishes. Where I filmed from before was right over there on the bank. As you can see, there's not a lot of stones on this side. This is one part of the stone circle where most of the stones were robbed out for housing and everything else around here. They did many years ago. They didn't understand the importance of places like this. But from here you get to see the scale, the people stood there and people walking past. And some of the stones, there's the Red Lion pub over there. Far more impressive than Stonehenge in my opinion. I think this is one of the only times I've ever been here and there's not sheep grazing. So obviously they use the sheep to keep the grass down. A lot of this area is actually roped off to help preserve Avebury from erosion. We'll take a wander over to those stones shortly. They're on the other side of the road there, the road that actually passes through the village. In the meantime, we'll take a wander over this way. So from here, you can actually see a better view of the pathway or the trackway I was telling you about over there in the distance that leads up to the Ridgeway. Obviously, if you walk up that way, you miss out about 2.5 miles of the Ridgeway itself, because the start is over in that direction at the sanctuary. But walking along the Ridgeway, if you walk it from the other direction to Avebury, from up there is where you get your first glimpse of Avebury stones. And these two big stones over here where these people are walking past, you get a big sun ritual there at solstice time. Some people say that the stones are actually male and female. Obviously the male being the long pointed one out of the two, and the female being the flat one. You actually do get a spectacular view of the sunrise on solstice morning from up on top of the ridge there, on top of the bank. And the photograph on my logo, sunrise to sunset, that's where the photograph was actually taken from, by my son. He was stood just over there watching the sunrise come up just there. Like I say, it's a shame that there's not more of the stones still left on this side of the henge. Oh, and we have graffiti. First piece of graffiti I've seen. So we'll take you now across the road, because that stone there is the Swindon stone. So we'll take you over there now. So we've just crossed the road from the sun circle where the male and female stone is, through a little gate there, along this pathway. Up here, directly in front of us, is a stone called the Swindon stone. Avebury Manor itself, there's a big manor which is just over there. Over there we have the museum, which is in the old barn with a thatched roof there. Oh, sorry, that's not the museum. The museum's just beyond that. There's a dovecote over there. That's like a little tourist thing they've built in recent years in the old barn. And the National Trust shop's just over there. As I was saying, you can see there's not that many stones on this side. But just through this gate, like I say, it's a Swindon stone. Thanks. I did know how much this one they reckon weighs, but at the moment in time I can't remember. Yeah, where that person is in the high vis, that's a gateway into Avebury Manor. This one was actually laying flat at one time. Swindon stone. Like a lot of the stones around here. When they were found laying down, they were re-erected. I think it's obvious to see from that one which side was laying on the floor. One side's very flat, the other side's fairly rounded and really pitted. So if we follow the bank and the ditch round, past the old barn there, and round the edge of these stones, just over the road, is where we began. We started off just the other side of these buildings here, and walked anti-clockwise, round the circle, all the way up round the back, right over the back there, all the way round. There's the male and female stone over there, and then people are walking down on the road, which they built, cuts right through the middle of the village. There's the Swindon stone, and like I say, back down this way, where the bank and the ditch suddenly end. Takes you back to where we started. So here we are inside the 16th century dovecote. So that's the museum where they got the barber surgeon's tools. Avebury Manor Gardens beyond there. This is the old farmyard. So there's the old barn, which is now a museum as well. A cafe, a National Trust shop is just over there. Toilets are just up round there. We'll see if we can get a shot of the manor. Yes, we've got really busy around here. We'll take a walk through the churchyard, which brings us out into Avebury village itself, just the other side of the church. It's a little bit more peaceful in here. Gate, it's just over there. Oh, it's nice to see the tap still there. It's a good place to get water from on solstice. As long as you boil it, it's fine to drink. It's been there in that little cupboard for many, many years. Shouldn't tell people that. Don't want everyone tramping in here. I think one solstice we had over the weekend up to 10,000 people come through here. So if you have 10,000 people all trying to get water from there, there'd be a queue. Normally you're lucky if you see one person. Might have to edit that bit out, I think. So these are actually called churchyard cottages. It brings you out into Avebury High Street. It's not really High Street. The school, I think, is still open. That's the old bakery. From when it was a working village, obviously. The old bakehouse. And just up there in the distance is the Red Line. Here's the school. So there's the main entrance itself into the church. Oh, it's called a social centre now. This plaque commemorates 163 years of service to the community by Avebury Church of England Primary School, 1844 to 2007. Didn't actually realise it was closed. Not that often I wander down this bit. I have a nursery there now. We're just approaching where we actually started our little walk earlier on. So just up through here, this is where we actually started. Just up there is the Barber's Stone. We actually went through the gate just here by this sign and walked round anti-clockwise in that direction. Thank you for being with me. Here is the well inside the Red Lion pub in Avebury. Finished well circa 1600. 86 feet deep, to be believed to be the last resting place of at least one unfortunate villager. Let's go and get a beer.